The information in this video is provided for informational and educational purposes only.
Welcome to Dose of DeAnn, where you'll get a little shot of what my life is like living with SMA. As you may know, I have a service dog named Roy. I got him through an organization called Canine Companions for Independence. If you're ever looking for a service dog for yourself or your child, I highly recommend looking into them. I do recommend looking into it early because sometimes there's an extensive waiting list, but their dogs are top notch. Every couple of years, I have to do a public access recertification with the organization. And they come to Minnesota every year, but I have to do it like every couple of years. And they just want to know that the dog is still behaving appropriately in public and they still know their stuff. So after a quick word from our sponsor, I'm going to show you a little bit how I prepare for that and let you know how the access test went.
This vlog was made possible by a sponsorship from Avexis, a clinical-stage gene therapy company relentlessly focused on bringing gene therapy out of the lab and into the clinical setting for patients and families devastated by rare and life-threatening neurological genetic diseases. To understand how gene therapy is changing the way we see genetic diseases, check out exploregenetherapy.com, www.exploregenetherapy.com. Explore Gene Therapy is a resource for learning more about gene therapy, including its history and how it is being studied. Visit www.exploregenetherapy.com.
I certainly can't bring Roy to this recertification looking like this. Typically, I like to get him groomed once a year professionally, but my groomer is out, so we have to do a bath at home.
Face from rolling in the mud.
And of course he comes by me to shake. Scrub-a-dub-dub. I think he's already 2 shades lighter in color.
Nice and warm anyway, Roy.
We hooked the hose up to the faucet in the house, that way it'd be nice and warm for rinsing. Even though we used special dog shampoo, it's important to rinse thoroughly so it doesn't irritate their skin. Since we don't have a blower, towel drying will have to do.
Aren't you pretty?
One last shake concludes bath time. On to brushing, we're using what's called a furminator to get out all that extra loose fur. My sister trimmed his nails a few days prior, so the only thing left to do is brush his teeth. We use a special dog toothpaste that's meat flavored, and it's specifically designed so you don't have to rinse it and is safe for them to ingest. It's important to keep up with their dental hygiene, even if they're not crazy about it. Now that Roy's looking spiffy, it's on to recertification. For those of us in Minnesota, it's held at the Mall of America. 2.5 hours later, and a McDonald's hash browns, we made it to the Mall of America where we're doing our recertification. We're a few minutes early, so we're going to find where we're going to meet and see who all is there. We're a little early, so we decided to practice a few things. This is his pup. Right, huh? Yep. The group of 3 of us were off to do our recertification. It's quite difficult to record at the Mall of America with the high volume and the crowds, so I don't have actual footage of our assessment, but I thought I'd describe it to you. CCI takes small groups to do their assessment, and they do different things to make sure your dog is acting appropriately in public and that you can handle the dog, and they still know their stuff. One of the things they do is have us weave in and out of tight spaces to see how we navigate, and they also have us put the dog on a down and step over them to make sure they don't get startled by that. And they even have strangers come up to greet the dogs to see what their reaction is. I think we made this gentleman's day when he was asked to greet the dogs, and Roy acted like a pro. As we're walking along, the trainer will toss a clipboard down on the floor to make a loud noise to see if the dogs are startled. They also have us go outside so they see how we go through doorways and how the dogs interact with traffic. Make sure they're not startled by that. After we've gone back in, we have to retrieve some dropped items. They also take the dogs, and then we have to leave out of sight to make sure the dogs don't have anxiety when we're not around. And then we call the dogs to us and have them retrieve their leash to make sure that the dog won't run off on us or anything like that. And then my favorite but most concerning test is the biscuit test. They have us have the dogs sitting. They put a biscuit on the floor, and then they have us put our dogs into a down right in front of the biscuit, and they're not supposed to touch it. This one concerns me a little bit, but Roy did great, and he just stared at that biscuit longingly.
Pass. You guys pass. Well, they're all smiling. And yes, I try to make it pleasant for everyone.
We even passed the biscuit test. We passed our test, so now we're at Mall of America, so we're gonna do some shopping. The biscuit test had nothing on the beef jerky store with all those great smells, and Roy did fantastic, even scoring a bag of dog treats for his good behavior. Even though it was a long day, we left at 8 o'clock and got home around 5. It was really fun. I'm glad we only have to do it once every couple of years, though. We stopped at some fun stores, stopped at Carlo's Bakery. I got a pair of Croc shoes, the most comfortable shoes on the planet in my opinion. And Roy did great. So I want to know, if you guys have service dogs, do you have to do similar recertifications, or is this something that just CCI does? I'd like to know how you keep up with your training, and I'd love to hear your experiences. We'll talk to you again soon, but that's all I have for you today. Bye for now.